So, so, um, considering we do not have, so we're going to be, I'm going to speak in a very, I know I have you on the call, but I'm going to be recording this whole session so that for any other person who wants to show the same workflow, they are going to have to see. Now, let me share my screen with you. Share screen. I hope this does not take too much resources on my computer. Okay, so all right. So this is going to be very direct. We're going to be very time conscious. You understand? Because I want to demonstrate how easy it is to go from start to finish with any project. Any idea you have at hand, any ideas you have in your head, any projects you have been assigned, it should be easy for you to start, even things that you come up with. So, for anybody who is working with us, depending on the arrangements, especially for each project, is going to be described. It's going to be at various levels or levels of complexity for this each of the projects. So, as a simple demonstration, we are going to be making a simple promo video for Android Digital, right? And um, we're going to be using an After Effects template from Envato Elements, which we already sourced. And the simple step is that we're going to take what we have on the template, right? Come up with our own script and customize that template to fit our own ideas to communicate Andra Digital's ideas. Now, it's going to be a template that advertises Andra Digital services, and all we have to do is look at what that template offers and our goal, and then figure out the steps we need to go from there to there. And in the process, we're also going to be learning some project management tips, some things that help make the work a lot easier, right? We're working in After Effects, but there are some things that we could add to our workflow that that helps us save time, reduces complexity, and also helps us communicate better with other people who are going to be working on the project, with us. So again, we're going from start to finish for this project. A lot of things maybe have been reviewed ahead of time, but pretty much that is how the workflow is going to be for anybody. So, uh, so what exactly are our goals? What are our what ideas do we have? Right? We have Android Digital is a digital agency that does graphic design, video editing, um, animation, web design, we build websites, for people, for businesses, for organizations, for personal brands, virtually all industries, and we offer a great service, great offers, great pricing, and we want to communicate that to other people who might be needing these services, right? So the idea is whoever is the platforms. The idea is that whoever is going on the targeted platforms like social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, they want to, they should be able to see this video we are making, and it should inform them what Android Digital does, and explain to them how easy it is, and then maybe give them a call to action to get started with Android Digital, which is pretty much a um, very common among other promo videos for businesses and whatnot. So, what kind of video is this going to be? Well, for this one, we're looking at a motion graphic video, very stunning, very catchy, colorful, professional looking, great sound design, and then the 16 by 9 aspect ratio, full HD 1080 pixels, and uh, duration 30 seconds. 30-second video is good. You know, then because we're communicating, we're promoting Android Digital is one entity. Then we want to stick to the brand identity. Colors, fonts, um, its logos, all of that stuff. Make sure we're communicating the right information. We are not um, misadvertising. We are not exaggerating, and we are not miscommunicating. Right. So all of these things have to be direct. And again, the most important thing for all of these things, and really in anything, from my experience in tech, is that you first have to conquer the fear in your mind and understand that this is very easy. It's easier than it looks, and it will always get easier for the same thing. It will only get harder when you are scaling up in complexity, when you're trying to do more advanced things, when you're trying to do better videos, you're trying to work on bigger projects, longer duration. We're doing 30 seconds now. It's going to be maybe it's be more demanding if you're doing a 60-second or 90-second or 1 hour video, for example. So, but the most important thing is that a lot of these things, um, still boil down to the very basics, right? They work with the same principles. And once you know the basics of Adobe After Effects, Premiere Pro, um, basic timeline editing, keying, masking, layers, compositing, colors, shapes, text, you know, importing, exporting, and drag and drops and stuff like that, and even some, it's pretty much the very basics. Then you're good to go, because you have to realize that all of these, just about all of these templates, even from Enviro Elements, which I'm used to, they are engineered for even the simplest beginners, the bare minimum, very basic knowledge. So, in as much as you might open it up and see how timelines and comps and pre-comps are arranged, it shouldn't scare you. It's still the same basic principles, but just on varying levels of complexity. It's same principles, and pretty much you'll be able to, especially when you're done, you realize, oh, how easy it was, and you're probably going to think how you would have done things better and faster. So, but that's the thing in gaining experience. The most important thing really one of the most important things is practice. The more and more you practice, the better you get. So now to get on with it, because we're trying to keep this very quick and short and make explain and just demonstrate how easy this is. I'm going to be showing you what the template is. But first of all, one of the basic things, again, we have already before now gone on Envato Elements where we have a subscription, an annual license, and we've picked out one of the various agency promo templates, motion graphics, After Effects templates, and I'm going to be showing it to you. I may not be showing you on my browser because I don't want to open up the browser. I have so many tabs. I'll just um, to um, too complicate, make things look too complicated. But just a simple link to an Envato Elements project, I could put that in the description or whatever. So, what are the first steps? Housekeeping steps, workflow tips that we want to do. So, one of the things I like to do is, first of all, as a motion designer, whether as a hobby, full time job, or side hustle, whatever, I like to organize stuff on my computer. I have personal photos on my computer, 3D projects, audio projects, film projects, videography, all kinds of things I do with my computer, even games. So what would I like to do? I'd like to keep everything organized so that anytime in the future I could easily navigate, I could easily open up, I could easily transfer this project to someone else to work on or to review or whatever, you know. So one of the first things I don't miss out on. I know how easy it is to just skip out on this and just feel like, just trying to get the ideas out and just get quick. That's good, but this will really save you a lot of time and stress, not just now, in the long run throughout the project and in the future. So, so one of the first things I like to do is create a folder. First of all, I have a folder for all my projects. And just in case you don't have this already, um, I think I'm echoing, but I need to figure out why. So one of the first thing, again, the first things that I would like to do is housekeeping. I like to create a folder for all my projects. I already have that on my computer. I have a lot of this test, but just for demonstration, I'm going to show you what that's like. So again, as you can see, this is my fresh desktop, and I'm going to create in a new folder, right? New folder, and I'm going to title this. Um, I'm going to title this folder, project rather. I'm going to title this project, right? So I click enter. And the shortcut for creating a new folder is on your keyboard is Control Shift N. So I'm going to show you that later. Now, on this projects folder, I have it opened up on my second screen. But let me bring it to my main screen here, right? This is your Windows File Explorer panels on the right. Don't mind my panels. Um, so now there are a couple of things that we're going to be needing for this project, right? We're trying to promote Android Digital, all right? We have a template from After Effects. We're going to have background music. We're going to have images, logos, video clips, stock footage, whatever. One of the best things you can do, you could really inculcate in your workflow is bringing that, bringing all of those assets into your folder. Now, this is my projects folder, meaning that every After Effects or video projects that I'm working on are going to be in this project. So on my computer, all my project files will be classified under this folder I just created on my desktop, right? So I could, for this particular project, I could go and create a new folder titled um, Andra Promo 1, right? And that's going to take a few seconds to pop up. Um, I do have something working in the background that makes that delay. So I'm just going to call this Andra promo video 100. That's what I like to. You could name it anything, right? But again, this is the folder where we're going to be working with, and I could change the view here to largest thumbnails. It's just something ergonomic I like to do. So now this particular folder is where we're going to have everything regarding this particular project, right? So this promo is Android Digital 100, and that's pretty much what we're going to be. The naming scheme we're going to be inculcating in all our project files, pretty much. And you're going to see that in a moment as we go on. So in this folder, we're going to bring all our assets to it, like images, video clips, um, sounds, and all that stuff. So again, um, before we do that, one of the first things you want to do, okay, for anyone who is just really starting this out as an idea, folder creation is one of the first things you want to do. Then you want to bring in your scripts. You want to gather all your ideas in a document. So what you're going to do is take file, new, right click and say new, create new Word document. What I like to do is a Word document, and I just simply title this scripts, right? I title this scripts, and I'm going to open up this document by double clicking, right? Refresh that. Open this up in Microsoft Word. For some reason, it opens up in my other um, in the other window. So here is what I mean I like to do, right? And I title this. I put the or just at the top. I'm going to title this Andra Promo 100, right? So um come again, Fury. So what? Okay. So I'm gonna. This is Andra Promo script, and I'm just gonna say um video ideas and then video specification. Again, this might seem like a huge step, but trust me, this is going to be um this is going to help you, in the long run as you go forward in editing and producing videos. So organization is very key, right? So um for my video ideas, I'm simply going to say, okay, we're going to use an After Effects um template, right? And let me see, let me correct that spelling here. I'll just retype that, right? So I use an After Effects template. Let me bullet point this, right? So, and for the video specs, we're going to, let's say, duration. We're going to make this 30-second video, right? For some reason, I just many typos. This part any typo. Um, the next thing is we're going to make the aspect ratio 16 by 9. Oh my God. Um, we need style. The style should be just motion graphics, right? What else? Resolution could be full HD, 1080p, right? Um, and then it's, let's see, After Effects templates, um, service description and call to action. So these are the things, like these are the ideas that we have. And the truth is, you could actually combine all of these, right? So for for the most for the most part, let's just delete this, right? Let's delete all this and combine. Let's just say video ideas and specification, right? So in this workflow, we're going to take an After Effects script, and that an After Effects template, and that template should have basically all of these features, right? And there are tons of After Effects. You could find 4K, 4K templates. Now you could even work with a 4K template. We could actually say Full HD or 4K. So I don't see why we can't use $4,000. They were not doing $4,000 right now, right? So these are the ideas we have, and um, so these are the ideas we have. Let's say these are the ideas that we have for a video, and we're going to find a template that does this. Like, so I think one more platform, we could do FB, YouTube, TikTok. Um, yep. Let's just stick with this for now because this is going to be um a 16 by 9 video, right? So basically, Facebook and YouTube could use a 16 by 9 video, and maybe we could even throw TV in here. Why not? So these are 16 by 9 formats. If you wanted to do something for purposely for TikTok and YouTube Shorts or Facebook Reels, then those would be 9 by 16. So now that we have all of these narrowed down, right, we could definitely we could go on to put, let's say, something like the script. And for the purpose of what we're doing, um, we want to one of the easiest things that you want to do, and this is very important. One of the easiest things that you want to do, right, especially when specified, depending on the project that has been given to you, is to take the template and customize as little as possible, right? Try to not try not to move a lot of the elements because a lot of these templates are already very good out of the box. The animations are good, the colors and the text, the font, typography are already looking very good. And sometimes why you see many projects not look as good as the original templates is because some key elements have been changed but not perfected. So one easy hack to get through this or to avoid, you have a template and then your final result looks like trash is to simply customize as little as possible. So you're taking a template, is information is very generic, and you want to make that uh, fulfill your purpose, right? You're trying to make that template um, serve the purpose of your business or your service or whatever you're trying to promote, for example. Then, so what you need is to find a way, the easiest way to change the information to fit what you're doing. So, for example, you're changing basic solid color, text colors, background colors, you're changing the content of the text. But one of the things you want to do is that the content of the text should match in length. Let's say you're changing a bold title, and in the template that bold title was five was a 2 word sentence, like game changing, right? If you're changing the from game changing, you can't just put something like uh, ornamental areas, right? Because ornamental areas is actually going to be longer in text. This is an example. it's going to be longer in text and then going to oversize what you're putting. So what you want as much as possible is to replace text, even though it's you template text doesn't uh, actually serve the purpose you're trying to do. But whatever you're substituting should pretty as much as possible keep this text length as the original template, right? So, and how could you easily do that? For number one, before now, you could easily think about this stuff. But the good thing is, right now you have AI. You could look at the service description, and some ideas are going to come, and then you could put in your replace your text, or you could just have AI and prompt it to maintain the same rules, come up with something. You give it some context about your business, and then give it the limitations, the restrictions. Say, come up with something within this text character limit, right? And it's going to do that for you. So so that out of the way, that's why when we're not going to write the script out right now. Now you're going to get sometimes you're going to get projects that you're going to maybe a client or your coordinator is going to give you the script that you have to work with. But since we do have autonomy at this level, again we're fleshing this out of our history. We want to take a template and from the information we know and all the things we've gathered on Android Digital's website, we want to take that and customize it to um, the template, what is on the template. And I'm going to show you how that works in a moment. So now I've already done some of these steps because things like this take a fair amount of time. So in order to keep this video short, I've already gone ahead to take a few minutes, about a few minutes really to come up with some things like this. And I'm going to show you how. So for the first things, now another tooltip, right, is to always save your work, project files, documents. For example, since we opened it, we've just been editing, and there are chances that something happens. Let's say blue screen, a crash, whatever, and we're going to lose all the things that we put down in the past 30 minutes. So what we're going to do is simply save. Press Ctrl S, and that's going to save the document. We already created a document in our project folder, so we don't need to change the folder location. So press save, you're going to save straight to that same document. Now I'm going to minimize this, and I'm back here in my project folder, Andra Promo 100, changing the view to biggest thumbnail. So what are the other things we're going to need, right? Um, Very quickly, here's another tip. There are some tiny tools that you could use on your computer that help you find files easily, right? I do have a copy of Android Digital's logo on my computer, but maybe I don't remember where exactly it is, right? But I do know that I've saved the logo as Android Digital. There's a name file name like Android Digital there's Android Digital in the file name. So one of the most amazing tools that I found I've using it for the past couple of years that helps me find some of these things easily is everything. And is this folder right here? I'm going to show you from my start menu. Is this has this icon right here, like a magnifying glass orange flat icon. So what I'm going to do is if you open this, simply click it here, it just pops up. So this is my custom interface. Yours could look like a little like this. You're going to see it slightly different, mostly white, but this is what I have. Now I do have it. I have a custom shortcut set up on my keyboard. By default, I think the shortcuts could be Control Space, but I set mine as Alt Space because I have shortkeys for other functions on my computer. So if I hit Control Space, then it pops up. Then what I'm simply going to do is type Andra, right? ANDRA logo, right? And I do have so many things. Now, if you look at, I have a projects folder, I have all kinds of things, and these are Andra logos. I could easily type, I do know that is a PNG file, but if you don't know, then you could easily click on this, and it's going to show you a preview of these images, right? Of these images. And I can see Andra's logo here. See Andra's logo, Andra's logo. So what I want to do, if I click this and drag this here, it's going to move the file. So I'm not going to let go. What I'm going to simply do, because I want to make a copy for this project, I'm going to simply hold Control on my keyboard, click, drag it, over this folder and let go, and it's going to make instantly going to make a copy. Now I could already see that I copied one logo, but this was not the logo with the transparent background. So for example, I'm going to press Control Alt Space again on my keyboard, and it may look like it has a transparent background here, but the background is actually white, which matches easily with the background of this tool. So I think this is now I could simply open this up to view. You could double click, right? And it's going to open up. I am using Picasa Photo Viewer here, which is really great. It's very minimalistic for me. So, but I could see that this is not transparent. Now, if I go to other ones, I could see that some of them, I may not be able to view exactly whether it's transparent, but all I have to do is double click to open and it's going to pop up. So I could already see that this is transparent, right? You could see checkerboard behind this, and this is the Android transparent logo. So I could press escape to close the photo viewer. So all I need to do is again hold down control, click and drag, and I'm going to make a copy um, to our project folder. Okay, it is asking me because this has the same name. All I have to do, a very simple computer trick, is to come and compare, and then I could check both of them, and it's going to rename the new copy, right, so that they don't conflict, right? So this one keeps its name, but then the new one, if I refresh, the new one is going to um, appear with the right name. That's only going to take a second. Again, I do have some processes in the background that delays this specifically. It's not going to this delay is not going to be on your end, obviously. So yeah, so I do have Andras logo here. All right. Um, so some of the other things I do know I'm going to be um doing again. This is not the exact same sequence, but this is all of these tips again. I'm probably going to do a review of this in the future, but this is just a very unplanned tutorial, so we're just going to make do with it. Now, we have the logo and we have our video ideas put down in a document. So, how about the templates? Let's say you're the one you're at this point you're going to based on your video description you're going to go to Envato Elements and find a template. Now I'm not going to go through that process because it's very intuitive and it's just going to make this video longer. So already have come up with a template on my own. I have found a template on the I have found a template on Envato Elements, and I'm simply going to uh, show you what that's like. So this is the template preview, right? And um, and the next step really, now this is simply preview, right? So this, as you can see, it's an MP4 file. You could find this on the project page of any template on Envato Element, including images and whatnot. Usually they are watermarked, so they're not really stuff you can use mainly for preview purposes. But in our workflow, we're going to be using that to help plan our projects, understand how it's going to be. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this video with VLC simply by double clicking, and it's going to open up in full screen. And here's what it looks like. So this is a preview of the project. Let me erase the volume. Okay, there's some other parts to it, different versions in the project. So it's going to show that. So that's a shorter version. Now the vertical version. Okay. Okay. So the video just restarted, but basically it just took us through all the four versions. The full version, 30-second version, which was 16 by 9, which is the one we're going to be using. But this also shows us that in the same project templates, we have other versions, right? We have a shorter 11-second version, right? In case you want to use that, you want a very short video, you know. This is also another version. Basically the same project, but maybe with slight color variations, black and white filters, and whatnot. So if you want to use that, you could instead use that. And then you have the vertical version, which again you could use for TikTok and Instagram. We're not going to be doing that in this video, right? And then we have the square version, right? We have like a 4 by 3 version, and then the 16 by 9 vertical version and whatnot. Then we have a wider banner version, right? Just really short and just shows us what exactly um, Android Digital is going to be about. You could put on your Facebook banner or YouTube banner or wherever, or even on your website. So, and then that's just about it. So, um, again, already I've gone ahead to get, I've gone to pick up the template from um, I've gone ahead to pick up the template from my Envato Elements, right? And as you could see, I just wanted to make sure I was looking at the right document here. So so this is the document. But first of all, I'm going to be dragging because you're going to download it as a zip file. So what you want to do is to drag the document to your folder, right? I'm making a copy here actually for the purpose of this video. So you're going to be dragging a document, and then you can simply unzip it, right? Just say extract all. It should be a simple process for anyone. And you want to pull out the whole project file, from the zip file into your folder. Again, we're putting everything that this project is going to need in the one folder. That is going to help us for organization in the long term, right? It's really going to help. So, so that's what we have here, right? And um, and this is going to help us. So now, if we look back at um, let me open this up again. If we look back in this project, the first sample we have is going to be 16 by 9 version. That's actually is the main template, and then these are just other versions, right? So this usually when projects are arranged like this in templates files, they are not really, most of them are not really all going to be in one After Effects document. If they are, is no problem, but just in case you see them split as different AEPs, like After Effects project files, then you exactly know which one you're going to, you understand your way around it. So again, this is not really a beginner, so I mean, I assume anyone knows the basics. Anyone watching this knows the basics of After Effects. Um, so what you so looking at this, one of the things just to speed this up, one of the things that we want to do is see how can we very easily take this template. This is the beginning of the video we're going to be working on, right? And how can we take all this text from here, right, and change this to um fits Android Digital Services. Because again, when we search these on Envato Elements, we're playing the videos, we're looking at okay, which one already has a very similar look and style and feel for what we want to do. That we only need very minimal editing to bring the best, right? And it looks modern and it looks stunning and it looks great, and it should just be very good for our purposes. The better if you could pick a very good template that hits directly on your purpose, you know, it's going to produce an amazing result that everybody will love. Um, but also you want to pick one that is also going to help you achieve your goal easier, right? So you have a, let's say, a dice to that, no, rather a choice to make. Usually if you search longer and harder, you're eventually going to find one that is very amazing, fitting for the purpose, and you don't need to edit so much, right? It's just going to be perfect for your project. So this is, for example, this is one of them. Now I did find a whole other project which I think, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to be using this one, right? So very basically, let's analyze each scene, right, or each slide or each frame of this video, so to speak, every screen, right? So as the video starts, we're going to watch it basically slowly so that you can follow along, right? And we're just basically, this is a very high energy stump typography text. You could even listen, like in the background audio, you could hear is high energy um stump style. So basically, your viewer is going to be just reading the text. So let's read what this template, already says out of the box. So it says where Envato shows some images, some with an overlay and a tint, and then it says we work with brands, everything in between, where resource and services you need, whatever you're looking for, we will help you create. So it then shows some slides for different services. The first one is digital marketing case studies, aggressive sales strategy and tactics, events planning case studies, how to increase attendances, um, social media case studies, um, campaign for sale, web design case studies, hotel website creation, graphic design case studies, brand identity and app design, SEO services case studies, search engine optimization. And it says we work with clients like, then it shows some logos, right? And more, right? Our design strategy and technology teams help brands connect with people. We, okay, we're the team, bring ideas to life, right? Also, we win a design award and we worked in London, New York, Barcelona. Thank you. Then it shows the logo in the screen with social media links, to follow, connect, whatever. So this is the template that we have, and this is the template we chose. And we're just looking at, as we just read, all of the text is basically a something explanatory, something that explains who Android Digital is, what they do, and how they work, and also how you can connect with them. Right. So usually it's gonna be, hey, call our number, visit our website, check our social media handles, leave a message, whatever it is. Usually they will, like, for something like this works for Android Digital, right? Because we already do know Android Digital. We've seen their websites. The Android Digital offers graphic design, video editing, web design, SEO, game design, mobile app design, um, and all a slew of other things. So all we're going to do is now we need to analyze the text and the motion graphics so that we find the right text to substitute. We could think of the best text, the best script to substitute all of these text, and that will help. And I know, I mean, this is very an intuitive process, but it's really going to take some time to perfect. And the more time you spend, relatively, should give a better result, for scripting. So, if you do notice from the template, you see that some text have emphasis, some text have like colors, accents, like or inverted. So this yellow text. So we're going to be placing emphasis on this text that's yellow, and then it shows some images, right? And okay, so then this next scene, the emphasis animates from one word to the other, and then this one next one, the word enlarges. So there should be emphasis on some of this. Then this one has a stroke that then the field animates. Then um then this one pops up. All of these words just pop up. Then something like if you look at this word from this scene, I have to use my playhead to drag this slowly because again, trying to pause and play is gonna not gonna be very helpful because it's so fast paced. So then the next thing is this word, everything in between, right? So all of these words, um, they show up in different ways that we want to replace that will still fit the kind of animation, right? So you look at the word um, in between. It's it's replicated a couple more times. So I guess those are kind of words that you want to add emphasis on in the final video. There's going to be emphasis on them because again, we're not going around to really interchange these things. The Pretty much the motion graphics fits the beats, so we don't want to change the instrumental again. We're going to show how you could get that, and you don't want to move things around for this example, right? For this example video. So again, minimal customization, and for the most part, why we chose this project to be very simple and um, After Effects templates, editing tutorials, or workflow or chill streams could be very long, but we're trying to keep this as short as possible, right? And we're probably going to do a shorter one in the future, so stay tuned for that. But what we're going to do is simply try to replace some of the basic things, easier things um, in this video in this template as little as possible, right? So what that means is that okay, let's watch from the very beginning of the video and let's analyze, right? Just as an example. And if you look at the from the very first frame, right, it just starts with this frame, right? This text, the first scene, first screen has this text and this amount of words, right? So I think okay, sorry, there was a break in transmission there. Pardon me. So, right. we don't want to spend too much time on this, so we're just going to try to keep this as short as possible. So all we're going to do here is um so what we're looking at from this template, let's just analyze the flow of this template, right? So we might as well ignore the actual meaning of the text because we could replace it with anything. But whatever we're replacing it also needs to match the emphasis on each word, the motion graphics, right? So with the way the sentences are, the number of words and all that stuff. So again, minimal editing, we're looking at okay, we're in battle, emphasis on in battle. Then it shows one, two, three, four, five. I think that let's count that again. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, seven images. That means we need seven images for that scene, for that part of the video. Then it says we work with, that's the next thing, agency, next thing, brands, or everything in between. So those are each things where resource and services you need, right? Whatever you are looking for, we help you create. Emphasis on create. So then we have the services, digital marketing, then the subheading, then pretty much like a paragraph explanation. So then this, and then it goes on pretty much the same. So these are just a list of services, and how many are they? Uh, let's count. One, two, three, four, five, six. That's six services, right? And well, this it is possible to knock off one, but again, that's gonna distort your your final video because again, it is already cut to bits. You could distort one and extend the previous one to take to match the same length, keeping the other comps in the same position, which would work better. But that's just an option. But in this video, we're going to avoid that because actually Android Digital already has more than six services, which you could easily fill, and we could narrow down to six and fill in those gaps, those places for the template. Then it shows we work with clients like one, so it shows some logos one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, six logos. So that means we need six logos of clients Android Digital has worked with to show on this. Again, what we're still going to keep on, we decided to keep some of these text the same. Not exactly, again, the English is not correct because this is a generic template and it's actually meant for you to change this. But we decided that we're only going to basically correct the English. Actually, you could decide, that's what we initially decided, but we came up with a different script which I'm going to show you because again we decided to save time on this video and we already came up with the script within a couple minutes before the video. So then it has a paragraph. Pretty much our design it animates word by word or from white to yellow, right? Like from faded to white to yellow, and you could see that. So how many words? Our design strategy and technology terms helps brands connect with people. So basically like 10 words, but we want to keep the okay, is that right? Okay, that's four words, four more words, and so 11 words, right? But we want to keep this whatever we're going to be replacing this within the same length, right? So that's what you want to do. And then the next one, we are the team bring ideas to life. So you can see the way this animates, if that's what you want to, right? And then also we win a design award, worked in London, emphasis on London, the same sentence, emphasis on New York, same sentence, emphasis on Barcelona. So and then ends with a thank you. So in order to keep this short, then it closes with the logo. We're going to be editing very minimal in this First thing we're going to be editing is, and I think this is how you should work. When you open a project, you're going to see it laid out just as it is in the once you open the project, you're going to see all the comps laid out just as it is in this preview video. We're working with a template for the full 30-second 16 by 9 aspect ratio promo video. And that's what we're going to be editing. So once we open that up, we should see it laid out. But usually there's going to be a layer for effects, changing some of the preset like colors, colors of the text, colors of the other, like all the colors of the text and the backgrounds and shapes and all that stuff, and even the tints. So, and also maybe there's a lens flare and you could easily change its color. So we want to match those colors with Android Digital. So that's going to be the first step. But we've not opened that up yet, and I'm still going to show you the best ways to set up your project files, After Effects, Premiere Pro, whatever. And so yeah, so this is basically what we're going to be doing, and it's going to help us. So I just close that up, and again we have our project. This is a zip file. You can't delete this, but there's no point, so we'll just leave it there. All right. So in the agency promo, once we open that up, right, we see creative agency promo video, right? It's the folder in the project. So we're going to open that up again, and it shows us yellow, blue. So what is that? Which one do we have? I think we could just simply stick with the blue one and then open this up, and um we should see the full promo blue, right? So if we open, let's go back to the preview video and find out which one is there. How many are there really? Let's open this up. Go back to the beginning. It showed us. So this is yellow, right? Now I do hope I am looking at the right project file because I did have a couple of them, and this is the first time we're organizing this. So let's open the blue, right? And then um, agency promo blue, and then we could see the template file, right? So we can see there's a version for older version for there's a template for older version of After Effects CS6. We are on the CC, but for the purpose of this video, we have other versions of uh, of After Effects. But we're going to be working in Adobe After Effects 2022. Just it's a mid version that helps people who are following along with older version and newer version. So pretty much is the midpoint. That's why we chose to work with that in this video. So what we're going to be doing, rather you could just open this up and then take a look at it and what it looks like. But what we always like to do is to open After Effects, right? There are many reasons why we want to do this, right? There are so many reasons why we want to do this, and it's going to help us in organization when we actually do, right? So all we're going to do is come back here. No, let's go back to where we were, where this project is. Again, we could double click this. This is a version for Creative Cloud, newer version, which we're going to use, not the CS6. So we could, but what we're going to simply do is, first of all, open Adobe After Effects. Now, what Adobe After Effects 2022, right? We're going to open that. It's loading up. And what we're going to be doing is simply importing this template into After Effects. So After Effects is taking a while to open. This is under procedure, pretty much, depending on your computer specs. Uh, mine is pretty decent, at least for After Effects and the kind of project we're trying to do. So it should take, um, it don't take too long. Yours may be different, but one thing I like to say is if your computer can install After Effects, then it can run After Effects. The experience may not be the same, but there are tools, there are tips or systems that you could work with that help you, you know, um, manage the situation. Like um, there are also slight upgrades, slight optimization in software or hardware that you could use to improve the situation. We could make a video about that in the future. Again, this is our real life hands-on industry workflow tips. So we want to, they're just going to tell you, hey, this is what the standard procedure is. We'll tell you what we actually do. So again, when After Effects is open, what we like to do is to create a new project and watch carefully. When you're creating a new project, you're going to create a new project in that folder for your project file. So when you come here, again, we did not just double click and open the template AEP. We're creating a new project. It's going to open up the interface, then pop up everything that's needed. Then we're going to say File, Save As, Save as a project. Then to we're going to navigate to our desktop. Now, if I could navigate to my desktop, then we're going to see our projects folder, which you created at the beginning of the video. And in that folder, then we're going to see Android Digital 100 promo. Now, what I like to do, because I already named this in the projects folder, watch carefully. I named this Android promo video 100, which is the name I should be using for all my PSDs, Illustrator files, After Effects files, Premiere Pro files. So I pretty much I can just simply copy this name. That's what I like to do, right? Or you could just skip this step because it's as easy as typing the same thing all over again. So I'm going to double click, open this folder, and in this folder is where I had all my previous documents, right? So this is where we had our let me navigate back there. So this is where we have all our, this is where we want to save our AEP. So I'm going to go here and then say, click, click on the file name and just say Andra Promo 100, right? Or I could copy and paste the same thing. Andra Promo Video 100, right? And I could save that. So this is actually the file we're going to be working with. And watch carefully. All I'm going to do is drag in our template file, the one we're going to be working with, right? All you have to do is drag in the templates that you chose to work with, and you should be good to go. Now, these are the very, very critical steps. One of the first things you're going to notice now, watch, when I drag this in and I bring this into After Effects, I'm going to drop it in the project panel. Now, my interface, your interface might be different, but this is my own interface, right? You could drag this, a lot of times you could drag this in, but once you drag it in the project panel, it's going to try to create a folder and then import the whole thing. Now, watch what pops up the first time. Usually, when you import an After Effects template, it's going to import all the assets, everything, and also ask you for missing fonts. And this is a very, very critical step here, right? This is a very critical step here, right? This is asking for a lot of fonts in this project file. Now, the, clicking OK is going to ruin your project file as far as I'm concerned, right? Because it's going to automatically default set every asset um in this project. It's going to change their fonts to the default font of After Effects. And it's such a messy thing to try to go back and reset once you install the font later on, try to go change back everything, it's just going to be messy, right? Which font was originally this, which font was originally that. So the best thing is before this project is open, or even at this point, don't just click OK. Minimize After Effects, and here is where you could find the fonts. Templates will usually come with this help document, right? And you could open this up. Now, I am going to open this up with Microsoft Edge, which is a PDF viewer and also a browser, right? So I do have Chrome, Firefox, whatever you want to open this up as, you could open this up, and it's going to open up the help document. Templates from Envato Elements usually come with a help document that shows you how to edit it, you know, which is like a substitute for this video, but not an exact. Obviously, it's not as helpful as hands-on video like this. But it's usually going to have a font section, right? Now you look at this. This is the font that is it asks for. This is the font that this video needs, right? So, and this is the link to get the font. Now, in case you don't have a project file or for some reason you open a project file and you can't find a help document, or the help document doesn't have a link to the font or whatever, right? You could easily just take the font name which you see in After Effects, each of these fonts, and just Google them. You can find those fonts on DaFonts, Google Fonts, um, fonts. Also, there's so many websites that do fonts. You know, 100 fonts, 1,000 fonts. There's so many websites. You Google them, and it's usually the first few links are going to show you where you can get those fonts. Usually for free, almost all the time for free. Here's also the link where you could get this background sound. But what I also like to do is, even if this link points to Audio Jungle, if you do have an Envato license, the same track is going to be on on Envato Elements. And if you go to the project page of Envato Elements where you got that template, you're going to see links to this and sometimes some stock footage that were used in the template. So again, you could use this, open up the Audio Jungle page, and then use the title to search this for the same soundtrack on Envato Elements. Usually, this is just wrong. This is not cancelled, right? So let me close that tab here. So essentially, um, you want to use this link to get the font, right? So now I'm gonna do a very simple thing because for some reason this is a live demo. So I already see one challenge which is possibly you might see in other templates, right? So um, hold on, let me go up. I need to quickly look up something. There is a chance I am looking at the wrong template, right? So so here's the thing. Let's go to so as a quick demo, what we're going to be doing is making sure we have the right template. And I thought I wasn't going to do this, but since we're here, we might as well do this. So I'm going to simply um I do have the link to the project. So I'm gonna come up here and paste this link, right? And this is the project link. So I'm simply going to re-download this, download this. It's going to ask me who to license this to, and I am going to search for Android because um we have license to Android before. I'm going to say license and download, and that's going to quickly download the license for, right. So this is the same page that we're looking at, and again, like I said, this is going to have the background music. So if you play this background music, you can hear that this is, so that's not playing in the it's currently not playing on the loudspeaker because my headphones that I'm wearing right now seem to be set to the default, but I'm gonna probably switch those two. I mean, I could switch it later, but I'm just gonna, I don't wanna misconfigure my setup. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna download this and license it to Android Audio, right? License and download. Probably want to know how to copyright in there for licensing purpose. Again, this is one of the amazing things we have with um, having a license with Envato. Um, it's very risky getting templates shared online or pirate sites, and you could have serious loss if all your work could be gone, even for your clients, if you use a non-license, you don't have a license to audio or your template or whatever you're using. So it's always good to invest in a license. It's gonna help you a lot, especially in virtual elements. So yeah, um, like I said, usually it's gonna have all the information, or at least some of the basic information about the template. So this is the audio. Now we do have the audio and the templates. So first of all, I'm going to drag the audio, this file from here in the browser. I can drag that into my project folder, right? So there we have it, right? And then I could drag in my video template, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to quickly try to preview. Um, so I guess it does look like we have the right template. I just wasn't so sure. That's why we went ahead to try to re-download this, right? So blue long, yeah, pretty much we do have the right? Okay, it actually looks like we don't. So the good thing is we have the opportunity to undo everything. So I'm going to go back in here, and so this is one of the pitfalls in having so many things and they are not organized. In the process of preparing for this video, I must have copied multiple similar templates um, that we got from Envato, and they have similar names. So that's why we're making that mistake. So what I'm going to do is simply drag this folder here. I'm going to extract the correct templates into our folder. That means that whatever we imported in After Effects is not the correct template. So what that helps us to do simply is if we go back to After Effects, we could, since we're not using all these ones, we could skip out on it, press OK, and then delete that entire folder that's After Effects just imported. Click on it and just press delete on your keyboard. It's going to ask you yes to confirm. And then we're back to an empty template. We don't have to change, we don't have to start afresh here. We are starting afresh, but we're not creating a new After Effects document. So so now that we have extracted this folder, let's go back to our folder, and we might as well also delete this entire folder, which was the wrong. Now this was the wrong um, folder we extracted. To delete that, and we could also delete the um, the zip file that we just that we imported, the wrong zip file we imported, which I think was, again, I think I just made a mistake of not checking, right? So I mean, if you go back to environment, it says agency promotion 250716, right? 071606. So 071606 is the correct one. Then this was the, well, they do have the same name, right? So this is, no, they don't. Pardon me. Just gonna make sure. This one starts with digital agency. And so I'm gonna close this because we're done with Envato, right? We're done with, yeah, close the browser. So this one is creative agency. So as you can see, this folder is also digital agency. So I'm gonna delete this. Delete, and yeah, I'm going to, we actually still don't need it. I just wanted to make sure we deleted the right thing. So digital agency, working with blue. We're working with the long version, and we're working with this, the Creative Cloud, not the CS6 version. So we can bring that, put that in um, After Effects, and it should still pop up with some needed fonts, right? Which may be the same because I assume the two projects were made by the same studio. Maybe not, but let's just look at what fonts is going to ask us to. Again, we have the links to the fonts in this help document, right? So we're going to go back to that help document. This is not the help document. This was from the wrong template. So we can close this tab. Now I'm going to go, this is Pexels, which is a very helpful, useful resource, just not licensed. Um, we don't have a license for those things, so we don't use Pexels. We use Envato Elements. Again, I could close everything to, but just to clean up our workspace here, and then go to our folder, and this is the help documents we need. So we could click this, and it's going to open up help documents and then show us where we could get. So pretty much, yeah, it actually has the same look, right? So what that means is we could click and then we could type. Now, because the way this PDF is designed is hardly, it is not, this text is not highlightable. I think this is just like a screenshot of an image. There are tools that you could use to, to scan and copy this text. But sadly today we're just gonna have to type everything in. So go to fonts, Squirrel. Make sure I'm spelling correctly. .com/fonts / Gilroy. So if we go to this link, it should take us to where we could get this Gilroy font, right? So I'm gonna, I think I have to put slash Okay, for some reason it's not bringing up the same. Maybe because we must have made a typo in that um font squirrel. I mean, it could be missing. Maybe they deleted it, but let's try one more time by simply searching Gilroy from the website's database. So just type BLLY and let's see. Maybe it comes up with. Well, sadly, we can't get Gilroy font from, but that's just sometimes how it is. So all we're going to have to do is just search for Gilroy fonts and we should be able to find it. And good enough is for some reason the help file of this template doesn't seem to point to the actual fonts we are missing, right? So I'm going to delete this and re-import it again because I accidentally clicked, only because I accidentally clicked um okay, and I shouldn't have clicked okay. I should have installed the font first. So the font we're actually looking for is condensed Barlow, right? So say condensed Barlow condensed. Yeah, so this pretty much looks like the fonts that we have on our template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say get fonts. I'll remove this from my cart and then just download this. Also remove this from my cart. So click on this, open this up. So I need to extract this before I can install. I could take it back into this folder and extract. So this is a very important step because we don't want to mess up the fonts in the template, right? So we can install all these fonts. Good, amazing thing is we could highlight all of these fonts and right click and say install, and it's going to install all of them directly. And then afterwards, we could just delete them, right? We could just, I'm going to shift delete so it doesn't go to my recycle bin because I don't need it. Um, so to our main projects folder, right, which is where we are right now. So, yeah, so here's what I'm going to try to do. So press OK. I could delete all these, and then I could try to re-import it, and it shouldn't ask me for any fonts anymore. So I'm going to go back there, uh, blue, long version. I'm going to import this. Because we've installed everything, it shouldn't really ask us for any missing fonts. But for some reason, it still does. So we're going to see what exactly are the fonts: Barlow Condensed Bold, Extra Bold Medium. So this could be a painstaking process, but in order to keep the same font design, so a lot of times uh, the exact fonts may be sent specified to you um, by whoever gave you the project. Okay, so I do think we have the right font now because um, the font names of these are actually typed out exactly like in our templates in our templates error. So the missing fonts, maybe there's a general fix on how to make your install font that auto replace the missing fonts with the exact same font that may have this a different name. Maybe all you have to do is rename the file name, and that's going to change how the font installs. So I'm going to install and replace these, and that should fix our problem. Again, I'm going to delete this, shift delete, send off completely. Hmm, let me try something. Well, apparently, installing the fonts for all users still did not fix the error on the fonts. Let us try closing After Effects and reopening to reload to refresh our fonts database. So I'm going to delete this and close. Um, I'm not going to save this, so it just opens as the regular open. Now we did save this. We did save this document in our. We saved this in our um in the same project folder. So this is the one we can easily just double click to open After Effects and jump right into our project. So okay, so again I'm gonna try importing the um the same template into our fingers crossed, and hopefully it doesn't show up those errors again. If it does, there's probably some error in some pre-comps, which we're gonna try to see. We're gonna click on OK. So perfectly, this does fix it. This does fix our error with. So now, if we look into the same project as the um, Now, if you look into this project file, we could see we have various um, versions or compositions, each with varying. I don't know exactly why um, they would have multiple versions, having split all of them. Or maybe it's just the colors, right? So there's a red version of the long, there's a red version of the vertical, there's a red version of the banner, red version of the square, and stuff like that. So we have all the different aspect ratios of the blue version here. And maybe editing the text in one layer is going to effectively change the content of other layers. And that would be very helpful. So other than that, I'm just gonna, this is the, this is a wider version, right? So it does appear that all our, all the versions we imported seem to be, um, okay, press K, it shows that this is 1920 by 1080, right? And press OK, let's see what this looks like. So we do have some letterboxing here, and I suppose there's a very quick way to fix it. And I'm going to click on this and make sure that, let's open this comp and let's see. All right, so we've effectively removed the letterbox. So that was just a simple fix to, in order to get back um, what we had in the original template. So right, so I suppose this is the placeholder as you see in the template preview file. So we might as well just share this layer. We could delete it, but usually I don't like to delete stuff. I just hide the layers, with the eyeball icon from here and then share it. So now I just want to show exactly what we do have in the template, right? And for preview purposes, CP effects error. Let's see what this says. Okay, so for performance for performance issues, all we're going to do is we're going to drop this to a quarter. Then I need to check exactly how much of performance of resources After Effects seems to be using right now. So so we're currently previewing at a quarter of the resolution, right? So okay, I'm going to try render this with software only, and that should help fix the issue, right? So usually we don't want to tamper with a whole lot of effects here, but just to see, we're not going to be moving anything around yet, right? We really don't want to move anything at all in the whole video. But what we want to do is to um, see exactly how this works. And sometimes looking at this helps us build our skill as motion designers. Seeing you press you see all the keyframes, you just unshade the layers, see exactly how a lot of these templates are built, you know. So um so one of the things that's really making the video harder to render is the lens flare. And if we did hide the lens flare effect, then we could, for example, this is the blur effect, this one here. We could hide that. Then this light leak. And the issue is you just have to remember to enable these when you're about to render, right? Because again, just in preview, these effects could really be a bottleneck for the GPU to to composite all of these effects together in your final output. But here's one of the main things I like. Now, if you look at my After Effects timeline, it looks different from many other people's. And I'm just going to see. Let me see if I could change the workspace. Let me save changes to this workspace just in case. Um, I have a couple of workspaces that I've built over my time working. So I'm going to say save changes to workspace, right? Then I'm going to come to Window, Workspace, and let me look for the default. Let me see, default. So it's loading up the default workspace that you may be used to in After Effects. Maybe I probably changed the defaults myself a little bit, but this is not, I don't think this is. But your workspace might be different, so that's exactly what um, I'm trying to explain. So you just have to follow along with me here. And the reason why is because I'm going to be showing you exactly what else I use um, to what else I use to edit to make my workflow easier, right? So sometimes I do have two monitors as you've noticed. But I'm working fully in one monitor for the purpose of this video because you may as well be working in one monitor. So yeah, that said, I'm going to um, so that said, I'm going to be simply let me close one of these um, scripts. Make sure it's closed. Recursive scale comp. Don't want that to be popping up every time. Okay, that's closed. So I'm going to share all these layers again, or rather hide the shared layers. And this is the comp that we have to work with, right? So as you can imagine, this is where we have the first section of the video. We are in battle, agency, pretty much it has the same layout. So again, like I said, one of the first things we want to do is edit the um the colors, right? So Android Digital has some colors. First of all, let me drag in the logo, right? Let's see. This is our work folder. We will close Market Edge browser right now since we're done with finding all the fonts and figuring that out. So we might as well close this, right? And we will go back to usually are the things that concern us right now. So again, I want to drag this in to get Android Digital's colors. I'll put that on a pretty much we're not going to be dragging too much here. So the logo can be on the rows folder. So obviously you want to create new bins for organization. You can create an image for image, a folder for images, right? I usually like to just if it's easily spotted, I usually like to title my folders in all caps so that I just know I created it and it didn't come with a template. Then I could also create one for uh, videos. I could call it vid sometimes, you know, just put like all caps, right? I could put that, I could say, um, I could create one for audio in all caps. So when I see folders that are titled all caps, whether in the future I just know, I remember that in the process of creating a project, I created those myself and they didn't come with a template, you know. So yeah, I mean, sure, why not? Why we could just drag this to our images folder and toggle down to see um, what we have there. Now, when we get to the audio section, we're going to unzip this folder to get our background music out of it. But we don't really need, but for the most part, this could be an important step for you. So what we're going to do is um, right click and extract or extract this folder very easily. Now we have spent a fair bit amount of time trying to figure out the organization for this project, which would not be the usual workflow, um, especially for me. But um, it's good that we're just hands-on. And even at this pace, it's still good timing, you know, to be able to output a full 30-second promo video. So, um, so let's figure out which of them is the 30-second version. If I hover across, you can see that on my mouse, it already indicates that this is a 43-second clip, audio clip. This is a 28-second audio clip, and this is an 8-second audio clip. So I suppose for the 30-second, this 28-second audio would be the best, you know, actually what was used in the 30-second version in the live preview of our template. So when I drag stuff like this, one of the first things I love to do is to pre-comp it. I'm going to pre-comp this. I'm going to pre-compose because so that in the future I could just call it BG audio, right? And I pre-comp this. I might as well close this, right? So I can see. Then I also like to color my layers. And for the sake of here at Andra, we like to color background music as purple and background voiceovers as blue, right? Color background voiceovers as orange or blue. Usually, if this is a voiceover, it will be orange. But if background music, it will be blue, just for rather purple. And audio layers like this is an empty comp. Is a comp that doesn't have any visual, so you might as well just hide it with the eyeball icon. So, and if you want to see the waveform of the audio clip, you just double L twice, and then that will show you the whole progression of the audio clip, right? So if the audio has markers and stuff, you know, you're gonna maybe you're not gonna see exactly what. But if you want to match this up with the live preview, that's why we have the live preview in that folder. So we come back to the folder, and then we drag in the live preview. We always need a live preview for references. And now, and then we also like to, we go to right click, transform, and then fit to vertical or horizontal because the live preview, so it's going to pretty much fit. So that undo that, I think I accidentally hit flip, not fit. So transform and then fit to comp height or comp width. And that's going to make sure. Now, it is not what I like to do, but I want to fit it to comp first, then I pre-compose it. So I'm going to pre-compose. I'm going to say template preview. Usually this will be in all caps so that I know that I created this, but for this purpose it's not necessary. And then I could close this with Control W, right? And then I could scale this down. Press S to bring up scale, and then scale this down. I put this by the side so that I could compare those. Now, for comparison, this is what you could do to make sure that you're on the right spot, right? Before moving anything around, I just press double L twice, and then I know that this is the template view. Now, I want to make sure that I am on the first frame. On the first frame of this video, right, of the template, like you're looking at the background, I'm going to try to align these with the first frame. I'm looking at the video, not the audio waveform. This audio waveform has not yet been aligned, right? It hasn't yet been aligned. So let me try to reduce some of these sections we're seeing here by, yeah. So we really don't need some of these columns. We could take down the swatches. We could take down the blending. Let's see, parent link. Yeah, we don't need a parent link right now. So yeah, just to make our timeline wider or like appear wider at least. So what we're going to do is make sure that um, this first frame, the way we see in the comp, right, and After Effects comp looks the same as the template. So the After Effects comp will not move anything around, so it's already in the way it's supposed to be. What we need to align is the is After Effects is a live preview, right? The live preview of the video needs to be exactly at the points because the live preview didn't come at the full length of the comp. It came more than it came with other versions. It came with an intro. It came with stuff. So we want to make sure that we are at the exact points that we need to be, right? And we're gonna get there pretty soon if we do have. So I think let's see. Let's try to scale. Let's try to bring this here. We'll reset the position a little bit, but we need this at this point in our timeline, right here at the start of our timeline. We need this point, or we could even choose this point here, right? At this point, this is exactly how it shows. We want to make sure that this is showing exactly like this, right? So we're taking the live preview and lining it up. I think we need to drag it back a little bit, right? So one thing we could do is one of the easiest things we could do is because of working with previews, we could come to where let's say the first we shows up, right? Page up, page down is how to move one frame at a time on the timeline. So we go page up, page down. We could come page up, page up, page up. So something significant, right? So we're going to the first frame where R is the most visible and followed by E. And then we on our timeline, without clicking anything on our timeline, we're just going to press star on our keyboard. That's going to set a marker here. Then we select the where we're also trying to place the same marker, and then we're going to look for that same point in this preview video, right? We can expand this. We can expand this and say transform fit to comp. Right now, because we fit this the preview to comp, it's expanded. We're not looking at the After Effects template. We're looking at the preview video. So we go page up, try to go to exactly that point. We're not moving the preview. We're just moving our playhead on the timeline to find that exact spot that looks like that point in our video. And yes, this is exactly where it is, right? And then we're going to press, while we select the layer we're trying to mark, and then hit star on our keyboard, right? Asterisk. That's going to set a marker on the layer, not on the head of the timeline. And that means all we have to do now is move the preview so that both markers are aligned exactly, right? So that means that this, if you look at it, right now on our playhead, let's zoom out a little bit. So zoom in here, zoom in more. On our playhead, both markers are on the same. That means they are on the same spot. So if I hide this layer, we are looking at exactly the same thing. The difference is that when we hide the preview layer, which has the lens flare, we are now looking at the After Effects layer, which we disable the lens flare, if you remember, right? We disable the light leak rather, you know. So that's the difference. Obviously, we can enable the light leak, then it's going to look exactly like the preview, right? We could change light leak here. So that's the light leak. Or disabling that because we want to want to preview the video faster. We have to remember clearly to re-enable that in post or before we render the final video, so that we get the exact same look. They're really nice. So we hide that, and then we could zoom out. So pretty much anywhere we go in this video, this is the template because if you look at the preview is hidden now. But if I enable the preview, they look exactly the same. You notice the difference there is that there's some text, the Envato text on the preview. Right now we're looking at the templates. Preview, template, preview, template. So yeah, right now we have the template exactly at the way it was with audio and video. The audio coming from this audio is exactly lined with this animation because this is the preview. Now we're going to use that to align the audio we imported because the audio we imported was not exactly the same timing, or rather, yeah, the same timing as the template preview. So what we're going to do is to drag this to match the waveform, which is just about there. You could zoom in for more tighter accuracy, you know, if you want to really make sure you dial that in. So zoomed in all the way there, and you can see that that is accurate. So so right now we are right on the dot, on the spot. So now we could disable the audio and the video of the template. We could even shy it, right? We could press L, and that's going to hide the waveform, and then we could shy the layer. Once we shy the layer, it's going to hide because we hidden all the shy layers. So this is our audio. Obviously, we don't need to look at the waveform again. We could even lock this layer. We could lock it so that nothing moves it again. Um, Let me hide the waveform first and press L. Now, this is going a little significantly slower because I am having to explain a lot of these things. A lot of times, this is just uh, something you get used to and you just do it right off the bat, and it's going to be easy for you. But here's where we do the main editing. The first step, the next step is editing the colors, making sure that the colors are matched with Android Digital's colors. Out of the box, these templates, one of the reasons why we picked this is because these templates, or one of the reasons why we chose to continue with this project, because it already has Android Digital's colors, blue, but it is not exactly the same shade of blue. So the color code needs to be exactly the same. So what we're going to do simply is, since we already dragged the Android Digital logo, we could drag it in here, right? And look for the um, effect control, like the control layer, what we could use to edit the colors. So one thing you could usually, what you're going to look for is, you could search on project panel, because it's not in the root folder here. Usually it's going to be in one of these, um, one of the the folders, the root folders here. Or we could just simply look for control, right? And you could see these are control layers, right? So we could double click this, um, and it's going to show that that's a simple, but we could then press tab. If we click on that, press tab, it's going to show. No, that's not it. Well, a lot of other times it's going to be, um, let me see, effects controls, path, yeah, control layers, control. So maybe for this template, it's probably nested in any of these, um, the background layer. So what I'm going to do is to do a very, very quick investigation to see, um, where these colors are, right? So if I click on any of these layers, like the text itself, I click on this and I look at the effects controls. Let's see the colors. If I click and make this red, you see that it's not going to change to red. Why? Because the color of this text is driven by an effect which is linked to a layer, right? So in order to find that layer, that's why all I need to do is, I'm going to press Ctrl Z, but I'm going to look for, come down to that effect. Usually it's a fill, and that's, you can see, as you see, that's a fill color, right? And then um we can see that the fill color should be driven by an expression linked to a layer, right? So if I, so if you look at this, effect, we're not editing anything, right? We're just looking for where this is linked to. A second there. And you could see that that layer says it, it is linked to O3 comp render 4K layer control. So it is it is linked to a layer called control, which is inside O3 render comp 4K 3840X, right? So what we're going to do is go to O3 underscore render 4K. You could very easily see, come to our project panel, clear this because we're going to search for that comp, and this is the comp, right? So this is the render layer, and then we could see that this is the control layer. And if we open this up, then we have found where the colors for these templates are. It's because all the expressions are linked to effects inside layers, and then we could find what layers, what comps those layers are located. So just an easy things that some of these come with some level of experience. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is again, I'm going to drag in the logo here temporarily, I should say. I'm going to drag in Andra's logo here so that I could pick the blue out of the logo or whatever flyer or whatever. Um, you have the color code, then you don't need to use the color picker, so you could just very easily adjust the colors. I'm going to bring this to the top so that it shows clearly. I'm going to scale this up so that I could easily pick out the colors, right? So what that means is, yeah, all I want to do is change the blue, this background blue color to this color, this blue, this shade of blue. You can see they have slightly different shades of blue. Let me turn off title and action so this looks better. So yeah, I'm going to select the blue and you could see on it is titled BG color. And let's take that and then select this color. And you notice that automatically it's already changed. If we want to make that purple for some reason, let's say we have another agency that uses the color purple, let's say something like this, you know, yeah, we could definitely use that purple. And if we hide this layer, that automatically makes um our background color purple. But I'm going to do that, undo that, and make keep that the same shade of blue, you know, again, just to be sure, highlight and select Android Digital's blue, right? So I've successfully changed. All I wanted to do was to change the color of the background because I like the yellow. Android Digital has gray and grass, but I don't want to use that in this video. So all I did at this point was to change the blue color, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure I only have the comps I need opened up. So that's the comp we're working in. And so here we are. Now, this is one of the workflow tips that is going to help you in editing faster and being able to reference what you're doing. A lot of times you could be diving into this comp. Let's say you want to change this in between text, you know, and you go here, you keep diving into comps, and then you selected the text. But sometimes maybe there's a logo or just some other shapes elements that are you know above this, and you want to see how it looks in the final view. So what you want to do is use some kind of split view. Um, Premiere Pro has something called comparative view, but in After Effects, what we're going to be adding is a newer view to this. All right, and so once we come here with on our viewer, make sure our viewer is selected. Then we click on view and say new viewer. Now, when we click on a new viewer, it's going to pop up the same view of the same comp, only that one is locked, right? So let's say, for example, we're looking at the main view here. We could drag our logo. Let's say we wanted this logo. Now, in this outer comp, Android Digital's logo, let's say this is going to be our final comp result, right? And we wanted Android Digital logo to be up here, right? So this is our final view, but in case if we dive into this comp in order to change this text, we dive in here, you could see that, so this is actually one looking at our final comp. But when we dive in, we are looking at this one on our inner comp, right? So this one looks at the comp that we are in, and this one is locked to the main comp. So we opened this and it was the main comp. We created a new viewer and it was the main composition. And they have different views. So this one is fit. I'm trying to fit both of them so that we could see it easily. And again, this is how I like to work. A lot of times I open this um, so that I have a view of what the final video looks like. Again, I want to hide some other things like the guys. I'm hiding the rulers here, and I'm making sure this is fit, you know. So yeah. So this will help me look at the final view while I edit the the main view. And I do have all this space, that's why I choose to do that. So yeah, that was just a test. So now we have two views, meaning that we could dive into comps and edit text while we're still looking at how the main views look like. And I think I'm still gonna like remove some of these guys, so we see the clean version of what they look like. So yeah, now here comes the main edit in the work. We've already changed the colors. Now this is how our video is going to look like, but we want to change the colors, right? We need to change rather we need to change the text. And I mentioned that I already had let me close this. I mentioned that I already had a script prepared. Again, we did remember this was our script. This was how we put down our ideas, and we're going to edit the script. Let me bold this. So this is script. Now we do have the text. I've already taken the time to prepare the script that we're going to be replacing each of those texts, and in the format that it is arranged, right? The format it is arranged is pretty much just like I'm going to copy this. I put this in a previous document, close this out, and then paste this here, right? So that's only taking a bit to paste off. For some reason, it's freezing, so it should only take a couple moments to come back up. Okay, so that's pasted, nice and easy. Um, so yeah, this is our script, and the way it works is I broke this down into every scene the way I assumed the template is going to be broken down. So each of the text layers and the shape layers, this is what they're going to look like, right? So all we're going to do, right, and you're going to see how this works. So, and because in order to save time, I'm just going to start with copying and pasting. So again, I already made this, the, let me make this Andra, if I can spell. All right. So this is our script. So what I'm going to do is very simple. We already have our scripts, and again, I already explained how you could come up with yours if you are not already given by whoever gives you the project. So copy, and then I'm going to After Effects, and in this first comp, we need to go change this. Let's see, we might as well delete um, this the logo image that we used to test out something. So right, so this first comp just shows we are Envato. That is what we are going to be changing to we are Andra. And you need to be very careful about how you change these because you could see that the text is broken down into different um is broken down into different text layers. So again, already understanding how the template was built just from looking at the preview, it helped us to come up with a script that we thought would really be um, great. So I could just paste this and then welcome to Andra. I could remove all this, right? and I think I probably need to change this to we, right? So it may look like, hold on, again, we are, then change this next one to Andra, right? And then I could move this to where it was. Now, let's go back to our main comp and just look at how that plays out. ER Andra. You see that? So again, part of the steps in building this um, project is going to look for clips. I mentioned that we're going to replace about is it 6 or 7 images. We're going to be replacing 6 logos. We're going to be putting up 6 services. Each of those services have their own images. So again, those processes could be easily done, and we're not going to go over those. Then at the end screen, I think you're also going to be inputting like 4 or 5 or 6 images or videos also, which some have things. So you could easily find those. Sometimes they'll be given to you by whoever owns the project, or you'll be going to the Envato Elements to look for stuff like that. So again, we just continue on with. So we're done with the first scene. Go to the next one, and this is the next one. I can see that all of these, there are just so many expressions and keyframes showing. I just want to see all the layers together. Just press M, and that should bring them all. So next one is we work with, right? Then I want to change this we work with to what we have on the template. Is the number one, right? So we've done we welcome to Andra. We want to see the number one. So um come to this comp, which is where we could now change the we could change this to the number one. Obviously, we could just put this as the way it was written in the template, right? Again, this was really just rushed, but we could just say number one. We could say put a pound sign, right? And it's going to animate in the same way. It's like one after the first word, whatever is separated is a script. So that's why it's if you didn't break it up into 3 words, then it's not going to animate the flow of the color correctly. So what we're going to do is to the number one, and bring this to the center, or we could use a line and center uh, horizontally, right? So this is rushed. The number one agency, we're keeping that the same. Number one agency, if you look at our script, it just says agency there. The next word is built. Copy, go back. Next word, brands, we're changing that to built, which would be, right? Again, and that's how we keep doing that because we already come up with our script. To help, Control C, go back. The next word, or we're changing that to help, right? The next word, everything, right? We're changing that to your business. Control C, Control V, your business, right? What's the next word? In between, we're changing that to grow. Control C, Control V, grow, right? Pretty simple, isn't it? So I guess we're done with that composition. I want to close all these too many comps open. I could always find everything from my main console. All I mean, my main console is all I need open. So then zoom in, right? Where this next comp says where resource and services you need, whatever. Oh, where resource and services you need. That's what we're going to working on in the next comp, right? We've already come up with a script. Having a script just makes everything easier. The rest is just copy paste, right? So we're going back to our script. Starts with R, Control C, go back, Control V. The next word, suite of, Control C, go back, Control V. All right. I think I accidentally Control C, Control V. So this is frozen, so it didn't copy. So copy, Control V to paste. Why is it not pasting? I think this something is wrong. For some reason, this seems to be lagging. Maybe because we're streaming and doing so many things. We're not using a very. We shouldn't be using all these on the same computer. So Control V to paste that. So because for some reason this is not copying, I'm just going to type this out. So I'm just going to come here. Say suite of, right? The next word is experts. Control C, go back, highlight, Control V, services. I believe the next word is services, so we don't need to change that. We'll provide, Control C. Oh, I think I hit the wrong key there. This is really struggling. Control C, right? Right, you said this is copy, Control V to paste. We'll provide. So you see, so we'll provide then whatever you're looking for. So whatever you're looking for, all right. So whatever you're looking for. And if I check correctly, those are pretty much the same um, text that we have on our script. So after for, we go back into this comp, right? And the next word is we. So on our script, we just say yes. Control C, go back, Control V, right? Next word, we help you. Next one, we've got you covered. You see, we help you. So just paste that instead. All right. So what we're going to do is center that horizontally, and we could scale down the size. So since there is no keyframe on the size, if there was a keyframe on the size, then we would need to use a transform effect to scale it down. That's just a tip, but okay. So the amazing thing is the way it was. It actually is the same comp, right? Like it's the same text. So all we need to do is just copy the we've got you, like right, and then come here. So we're gonna undo that resizing and centering. Control C, right? So we're just pasting this. We've got you, right? And then here we're gonna paste the whole thing. We've got you covered, right? So yeah, this actually I think this is the one that needs to be, yeah, slightly adjusted. So yeah, or maybe not, because it's supposed to be the same. Let's see, got you. Sorry, John. Okay, so what we want to do, we probably don't want to. Right, so that's where we are covered. Awesome. So let's continue. Again, all we're doing henceforth is really just copy and pasting, because that's what we looked at. The now we're going to go digital, like we're looking at the services, right? So we have digital marketing, web design, graphic design, 2D and 3D animation, video editing, social media. So that's what we're going to do here, right? So this is a comp containing all 6 services. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And so here, what we're doing, we edit this, no, not editing um, digital marketing. We're coming back to edit this because we didn't put this in our script. But all maybe we could just say, um, I mean, we could change that in the future. You know, I don't want to spend too much time trying to think through all of these things. So the next one is what I think was graphic design. So go in here, change that to graphic design. Again, all of this is on our. I mean, instead of copying, I think it's just faster for me to type them. But I make sure I'm typing exactly what needs to be on there. So, and then the next service is um, I'm going to put video editing before 2D, 3D animation. All right, so nope, that's not the folder. So this is it. Video. All right. To the 3D. So 2D and 3D, right? So again, we try as much as possible to keep the length the same. That's what we do when we're coming up with our replacement scripts. And what else do we have? Oh yeah, I guess one of them was web design. But let's just put that here. I think we missed that. So that's something we have to be very careful with, right? If not, it's gonna take us time to have to go correct all these things again. So web design, and we're gonna do um, yeah. So social media. I mean, let's just make it SEO because I think we could just see, yeah, SEO services. I mean, again, I'm breaking from the script here because I only came up with the script, so I feel like right now I just feel like a lot of times you might be asked to follow the script very strictly, and it will be more thought out, so the script will be even better than you can. Everything will be more. This was rushed, so it wasn't. So then the next phase of the template is just changing the text. Very easy, right? So we help. That's the first word. Control C, Control V. Next one, change that. And we work with so many brands. Control C, Control V. Next one is for these logos. So these logos are comps that you have to go paste in your own logo. And this is the logo that we have in this one. And we're going to come back to that when we're coming to replace all of these comps, all of the images and video clips and whatever. So these are the 6 logos. Then the next word, oh, I think we have some words to replace here. So we're going to go in there. And so I think, okay, so this one was the next word. Um, so many brands to grow there. Control C, Control V, Control V. Oh, so that didn't paste, that didn't copy for some reason. So copy, double click this and paste. I think I might have to type this. So just let me just write grow. So that's the good thing about having a script. It just once you have everything laid out, you just copy paste it. And the amazing thing is now you have AI to come up with your scripts. You know, so as long as you're good at prompting, then you could no, that's not. That was supposed to be lowercase reach. So, and then what I actually wanted to do was this should be some arrows. So let me see. If you press Control plus on your keyboard, you could actually search for symbols. Let's see, not that one. You could search for symbols, and then you should find an arrow going right. So that's gonna help. I don't know. Let's try this one. No, that doesn't show. So the fonts we have doesn't really support that type of arrow. Let's see, does it support this one? It doesn't. Um, I mean, your computer will definitely have, at least on the Windows. This is one thing you could do. I don't know if how you could Google how to do this on a Mac. You could just find the shortcuts for that. So, Well, for now, we're not going to take too much time, so I'm just going to do Control Z and just leave it as reach, right? So REACH, reach, right? So let's go. So then this paragraph, right? So we do have a paragraph in our scripts. Oh my gosh. One thing I did forget to remind you is that always save your work very often. And it's just easy to get lost because I'm really just teaching, but hit hold control S, save your work. You know. Amazing things After Effects has auto save by default. You could change the frequency in the settings, but that will save you some time, especially when you forget to save, like just like I did. I haven't saved for nearly an hour or so. But here's the paragraph we're going to be putting in there. So just control V, right? For some reason, it's not like a copy. Then edit. Can I paste from here? It's really not showing me how to paste without. Do I need to type all this in? Come on. But it looks like I have to type all this in. So what it says here is get the stunning and professional look that makes you stand out, right? So get the stunning and let's go back to the previous line and professional look that makes you. So you're going to notice that it's supposed to animate in the same word by word, right? So, I mean, to match the previous, like the templates, you could, let me go back and on the main comp and enable, like hide, like view the templates. So I think this was our templates. So this is what shows up, and this is what we have right now. Okay. So pretty much the same length. I mean, it just needs to fit. So, so yeah, let's go back and then the next word is we. So we're changing that. We go to our script, elevate. We're changing. We have to type that elevate. So I'm gonna try to figure out why copy and paste doesn't work on some layers. I think it's probably from. Let's see. Maybe. Yeah, it does paste here. So it's something with maybe it's script or After Effects. I don't know. So we're the team. We're changing. We're the team to bring, right? Elevate. Let me see. I'm pretty sure bring ideas to life. We elevate. Oh, so your brand is supposed to be on a different line. That was something I remember I wasn't supposed to. So this we so elevate your brand. Elevate your brand. Bring ideas to life. This is gonna be B because it's supposed to be like a right. And then so the next word is also. Let's open up this comp, right? Also, so we're changing the from con connects. We're changing that from also to connect. Then Control V. Next word from we, we're changing that to with us. Control C, Control V. This is going to be very fast and get started. Control C and get started by changing this. Control V. Oh, we have to type this in. For some reason, After Effects doesn't just do Control, so we have to type this in. And oh, I can spell. Then get started, right? And the next word, change that from and right now the W. I mean, we could put today, but I think we have to change that from today to something else. So today, now, now. So we're gonna change this to get moving. So there should be get moving here. So this is Control C, Control V, right? But for some reason, why is this not central? I think it animates, right? Okay. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be. So this is supposed to be a forward. So we're gonna have to use the first four words here, right? So paste that here, and the first five paste that here, right? And this should end with today. But for some reason, this is to put on. I'm gonna change this to today. Then we're gonna change these to moving in the right direction. So I see. right? So what I could do is, I mean, this is not standard because again, myself, we didn't want to touch any expressions. But what we could do is twirl down to see the animation, you know, alphabetical animation, and we could change that from here. This is where the so if you drag this today and so this says 40 or 4 see it comes to this same this says 40 20 and then this is 60. Let's try it from here, change this to 50. Look, I'm not even going to try to, I'm just going to undo all this, right? So, I mean, it's probably going to take a few minutes to figure out, but we don't want to change. Again, we're trying to keep this very simple. But if you did want to figure out something like that, that's just the way you know how to figure it. You just have to understand the way the expression is written or the range selection for the text animation is written, and then you can um, so you need that final word in there. So it's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. You need 7 words in this sentence. Else it's not going to animate. So you could undo that and you know going to is one, two, three, four, five, six. It's the seventh word that takes the highlight. So I guess the reason why we have let's see, I think let's see, did I put a double space in there? Okay, so nope. All right. So we have done a fair bit of copy paste and we are basically done, right? Hold on, let me try to okay. Thank you. Well, we're gonna change the thank you. I mean, if you look at our script, we're changing that to with Andra, which is the final text animation we're doing, at least for now. So yeah, this I think this is the one we're working with. Right? No, I think that's not the text. And if you look at the clip, it says this is the text. Oh, not this one. you could hide to see which ones. Um, so this one, yep. So that's the comp we're looking for. And then we could change that to paste that with Android, right? So yeah. Um. So for the oh no, let's see, render. Which one did we just? So let's try. All right. So for the most part, we're basically done. I know this is a for the let me see for right. Just to check, this is a for this is a 4K render. Well, again, we have like I said, we have 1080p um comp. So if you want to render the 1080p version, I mean, if you have the time, it's better to render the 4K version for longevity. Because I guess my guess is in a few years, YouTube algorithms are going to favor videos that were in 4K. You know, because by then you have all kinds of screens and all kinds of people who, you know, who should have who whose vision now prefer to see clearer, things that are much more clearer. Let me see. So yeah. So yeah. So I guess that's where we are. I guess in the process of closing the window, the primary uh closing our main comp, we also just something you also have to be careful. We also lost our secondary viewer. Obviously, again, like I said, you could easily create a new viewer, and that just brings you back to the same place we were. So yeah, this has been a couple hours. It has been an unusually long stream, but I want to do longer streams like this, just more organized, more educative. It's not gonna be too slow to get stuff done. I want it to be the way I usually work because, again, for projects as simple as this, I usually work much faster. In all this time, I would have done from the research to the scripting to the organization to housekeeping and already started rendering by now. I mean, for a project like this. So, again, everything like one of the most important things is with good practice you get better, you get used to things, you explore new tools, you find better ways to do stuff, you get used to solving challenges, you get used to figuring out how to, cross some of the holes. Like once you have a challenge, it's an opportunity to learn something that probably is never going to hold you up again. You understand? So you're figuring how to fix the fonts issues. The usual way I do it always works, you know. But today I learned something new. I mean, it was the first time I had to struggle with that kind of font issue all over again. But quickly, someone just sent me a tip, and I was able to, quickly solve that. So more and more practice, you're always going to be learning new things. You're always going to be meeting new struggles. They'll keep reducing as a beginner. Almost everything is going to be a struggle to you. Oh my God,